What would you like to try
when
to
reading. When reading. And what would you like the child to accomplish in reading this year?
Okay.
Maybe it's more brief, more to the point, it doesn't seem so judgy.
Okay.
So I think, do we have some ideas?
Yeah, I think we kind of came up with one that we eliminated like the first statement, describe your child as a reader. And instead we said, what are your child's strengths and weaknesses when reading?
I'm going to go ahead and write this down. What are your child's
Strengths and weaknesses in or when reading.
strengths and or, which one was
And
it?
or weaknesses. Yeah, you could put either one.
And or weaknesses.
When reading.
Okay. And just kind of open-ended like that.
And then, what would you like your child to accomplish in reading this year? I think that's a great question. And I think that makes it more
positive.
more positive, number one, and number two, you're looking for guidance from the parent as to how to direct your education of the child in reading. Do these parents want their kids to be able to read for fun? Do they want their kids to be able to read just for business purposes?
Right.
Do they want to expand their vocabulary? And I think you're giving these parents much more power as to what they want out of their students and what they want out of the reading experience for their students.
Sure, and it's true because it opens up kind of their eyes to, you know, that there are different purposes for reading, which we don't always realize. And if you're not a reader, usually you're reading because you're for work or you're putting something together. So it's kind of good to just kind of remind people through the question that you could read for fun, or you could read to build vocabulary, or you could read for both. What was it? What would you like your child to accomplish as a reader?
In reading.
In reading.
In reading this year.
Okay, good. Reading, and I like it this year because it kind of limits it.
Yeah.
It's not like a big general question as well. Well, what I think, looking back at our, let's say we're going to send this survey home with those top 3, 4 questions, these two. Looking at this list, what questions, you know, we want to add a couple more questions. What do you think out of here our parents would give us more information about our parents? You know, whether it's the progress monitoring, the community resources, the activities at home, telling stories, current events. Think about that. Maybe you can, you know, think about it alone for like 30 seconds and talk about it as partners. And let's try to come up with 2 more questions based on some of these things that could help us gain more knowledge about our parents in our school.
That's a good one. Would you discuss
Yeah. You discuss.
daily events? Daily events.
Okay.
Because that could be everything.
Okay.
Yeah, open-ended.
Another minute, and I'm going to put up another sticky note in case we get that far. All right, so what do we think?
We came up with questions. You have a library card.
Okay. I like that. Do you How about do you or your child?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we also came up with, do you discuss daily events with your child?
What do we like about this one? Do you or your child have a library card? What do you guys think?
I think that's important to know about.
You can assess interest in using that resource that you're wondering if they have any interest in. You can assess that interest just by knowing if they have one. Now, if they have one doesn't necessarily mean they use it, but they probably do.
Right, okay. Good. And what do we think about the daily events? Discussing daily events with your child.
I think it helps you know if the parents are doing the current events thing with their children, or if they're watching the news or reading the
Okay.
newspaper with them.
Good. And promoting like the family dinner discussions,
Yeah.
that probably,
Discussing family events,
sure.
discussing the school day, discussing the work day,
Mm-hmm.
it ties in more. And if there's more verbal communication, then there's more than likely more other kinds of communication in the home.
Good. Very good. I mean, those are all great ideas. And what I want us to do at this point is we're going to get together in our departments. So, you know, you guys can either split up or you can stay part of it. But what I'd like you to do is work with your departments. You know, I'm not so worried about the grade level, just mostly the content area. Because what I think in the parent survey, it'd be nice to also have some content area type survey questions. I mean, we don't want to overwhelm the parents, but if we take, you know, the 3 or 4 we like from the sample, we take a couple of these 4 questions, you know, maybe try to add 2 or 3 more questions that are more content area specific. But what I need us to do when we do that is to keep in mind the goal of this new program we're trying to establish here at our school. And that's to support parents and their children and foster the development of family literacy. So, you know, we really want to see what type of support do our parents need. In turn, that'll support the children, that'll support us, the teachers, but we really want to get at what do the parents need. And also, how else can we foster this homeschool relationship based on family literacy. Before you guys split up into your departments though, I just want to cover a couple more things, and I'm going to read some of the statistics. I mean, it's fascinating, some of the things I found while, you know, doing a little bit of research on this. According to the National Institute of Literacy, family literacy programs build on families' strengths and provide the tools and support they need to become stronger and more self-sufficient. For example, in the beginning we talked about a language barrier, but you know, kids that are very proficient in their home language have a lot better chance of being proficient in English as well. Where if they're going home and they're not talking in any language, that's definitely detrimental. So those are the type of things that it builds on the family's strengths, regardless of the you know, language proficiency going on. As the education level of adults improve, so does their child's success in school. So an article published by the National Center of Education Statistics named Parent Involvement in Children's Education, Efforts by Public Elementary Schools, reiterate that these ideas on family literacy. Most schools with high poverty concentrations and minority enrollments of 50% or more found the following issues to be barriers, and we're over the 50% barriers, so that falls for our schools. The lack of parent education hurts with homework. There are cultural or socioeconomic differences that maybe the schools don't understand. language differences between parents and their staff. You brought up even with the translator, you know, it's not always going to get the whole message across. Parents' attitudes towards school, staff attitudes towards parents. We have to think and reflect upon ourselves as well as professionals. And then concerns about safety in the area after school hours. I mean, these are some of the biggest barriers in many schools. I mean, what our goal to do, and after you guys get into your departments and come back and we wrap up this survey so we can send it home, what our ultimate goal is to conduct a literacy exposition at the Fall Parent-Teacher Conference night in November. Obviously, we're going to talk a lot further about that and think about our parent service as well. And also, you know, link parents with community resources. Not only the library, but also maybe local junior colleges, ESL classes that might help the parents out. So information on technology and internet safety. I mean, I know that's a huge challenge right now, especially at the middle school years. They're on the computer, they know a lot more than the adults do. So it's important that we inform parents on those type of topics. So even think about that as we're forming our survey. You know, is there a technology question to put on it? And also to promote summer reading, which we talked about earlier. So, you know, by establishing a family literacy initiative on solid ground, what we want to do is gain confidence in ourselves as teachers, working with parents and the students, but also give the parents more confidence. So guys, I know you're going to break up into your groups right now, but I want to thank you, and we'll come back as a group in a sec, in a few minutes.